diving into the absolute core ideas from Yuval Noah Harari's incredible book, Sapiens. We're going to try to boil down thousands of years of human history into just a few key insights to understand our species' wild and, let's be honest, kind of bizarre journey to the top.
So let's just jump right into the central mystery that Harari kicks things off with. We're not the strongest animal out there, not the fastest, definitely not the biggest. So how in the world did we, Homo sapiens, end up running the entire show?
To get to the bottom of that, we first have to look at what doesn't make us special. You know, for most of our history, we were pretty unremarkable. Just another animal hanging out somewhere in the middle of the food chain. The secret to our sudden rise to power had nothing to do with physical strength.
Okay, so this is the absolute key difference between us and our closest relatives. A chimpanzee's world is basically hardwired by its DNA. They've got an alpha male, they've got their social structure, and that's that. But us, our societies can completely transform, sometimes almost overnight, without a single change to our genes.
And here's a perfect example of what that means. A group of chimps can't just get together and decide, you know what? This whole alpha male thing isn't working for us. Let's try a democracy. They can't do it, but we can. We can tear down a monarchy and write a constitution for a republic, all because we decided to change the story we tell ourselves about how we should live.
So if it's not our biology that set us apart, then what is it? Well, that incredible social flexibility, that's the clue. It points right to the secret weapon that let a bunch of apes from the savannah eventually build cities and fly to the moon.
And here it is. This is the single biggest idea in the entire book. Our superpower isn't fire or tools or even language itself. It's our ability to create and believe in stories, in fiction, and to do it together on a massive scale.
And this is what that superpower lets us do. I mean, think about it. Ants can cooperate in huge numbers, but it's totally rigid. They're just following their programming. Chimps can be flexible, but only in small groups where everybody knows each other. We're the only animal on Earth that can get millions or even billions of total strangers to work together towards a common goal. So how do we pull that off? We do it by believing in the same fictions, these imagined realities. Just think about it for a second. A nation, like the United States or Japan, isn't a physical thing. It's a story we all agree on. Money? It's just paper or pixels that only have value because we all collectively believe they do. A company like Google only exists as a legal story. Even something as fundamental as human rights is a powerful, incredible story that we've all decided to believe in and uphold.
And the scale of cooperation this unlocks is just staggering. Building the pyramids, fighting world wars, running a global financial system, you couldn't do any of that without these big shared stories holding us all together. Now, this superpower of ours has led to a really, really strange existence. You could say we're basically living in two different worlds at the exact same time. On the one hand, you've got objective reality. You know, rivers, trees, lions, things you can actually touch. But layered right on top of that is this whole imagined reality we've built, made of things like nations, money, and corporations. And here's the kicker. That imagined world has very, very real consequences in the physical one. This is a fantastic comparison because it shows you just how powerful these stories can be. The Code of Hammurabi and the Declaration of Independence are both imagined orders, but they tell completely opposite stories. One says hierarchy is natural and God-given. The other says equality is self-evident. Now, neither one of these is a biological fact, right? They're just stories. But believing in one story over the other creates a completely different world to live in. And if you fast forward to today, our imagined reality has become so powerful, it's now the dominant force on the planet. I mean, the actual survival of a real physical river now depends on the decisions of an imaginary entity like a corporation or the laws of a fictional thing like a nation. That's how powerful our stories have become. But getting this godlike power, well, it came with a pretty terrifying price tag. Our sudden jump to the top of the food chain happened so fast that nobody was ready for it. Not the planet, and not even us. All right, get ready for this. If you took all the large wild animals left on Earth, every lion, elephant, whale, you name it, and put them on a giant scale, their combined weight would be less than 100 million tons. Now, compare that to us and the animals we've domesticated, like cows, chickens, and pigs. Our combined weight, over 1 billion tons. I mean, just look at that difference.
We haven't just conquered the planet, we've completely rewritten its biology.
So why are we so destructive? Harari has this incredible metaphor to explain it. Unlike lions, who evolved over millions of years to be confident apex predators, our leap to the top was a blink of an eye. So we never got that self-confidence. Instead, we're full of the fears and anxieties of an underdog who just grabbed power, which makes us, doubly cruel and dangerous. And really, that's the root of the problem. This lightning-fast promotion to the top spot is the source of so many of our disasters, both ecological and historical. The ecosystem couldn't keep up with our sudden dominance. And frankly, neither could we. So, that brings us to the final, and maybe most mind-bending part of the story, the future. Because after mastering the planet, our superpower of fiction is now turning inward. We're starting to point it at ourselves. Harari breaks our whole history down into 3 huge revolutions. First was the cognitive revolution. That's when our fictions let history break free from biology. Then came the scientific revolution, which handed us all this incredible power. And now we're entering a third stage, a stage where 4 billion years of natural selection is starting to get replaced by intelligent design. And you can see this happening in a few different ways. There is biological engineering, literally rewriting our own genetic code. There's cyborg engineering, merging our organic bodies with non-organic technology. And then there's the creation of completely inorganic life, like AI. For the first time in 4 billion years of life on this planet, natural selection has a competitor, and that competitor is us. And that leaves us in this just unbelievable position. We've become self-made gods with the power to create and to destroy. And yet, we're accountable to absolutely no one. The only thing left to limit us are the basic laws of physics themselves. And so, the book leaves us with what might be the most important question anyone can ask. We have the power to literally re-engineer life, including ourselves. But what do we want to become? And maybe even more importantly, what should we want to want? That's the question that our generation, more than any other in history, is going to have to answer.